We are all children of a paradox, the paradox of existence. We're really consciousness. We are this ghost in the flesh and bone machine. That's who we are. Time and space, some say they're illusions. You can't have silence unless you have a tone. And you can have a tone or even noise, much less music, unless you have silence. Don't want to call it a paradox? Fine. It is yin and yang, polarity that produces everything, that produces music, that produces you, that produces me, and everything that you love and hate. Without that paradox, there's nothing. There's no movement. There's no energy. If you don't have that, there's nothing, really. And you may say, but then that's something. Nothing is something. Well, sure, but then you have to have something to define that nothingness, and vice versa. That's why it's a paradox.
You gotta have reverence for the notes. Each note. Doesn't matter what you're playing, how simple it is. We should be like Vangelis. Vangelis, when he had synthesizers, he would just go basically like this. And you could see that a whole divine orchestra was actually going through his whole body and his mind. And he was just playing a power chord, you know. He came from a rock band, and he was wonderful. And sometimes he would just put a lot of synthesizers together, and he would just play a few notes, like. Especially when you're a musician or you're into music, you're like, that's too simple, that's boring. I'm sorry, but if you find a stable tone boring, you're missing out on what music is about. I'm Leo. Thank you for joining us today. This is Bastien DiArgos. This whole journey began decades ago in my native Colombia, in an attic, actually, that was pretty much abandoned. And I always bugged my parents and told them, listen, we need to do something about that, because I want that to be my room. You know how teenagers are, that you really, especially when they start middle school, that they really want to have their own place and they want to develop their own identity and all that. That was me, you know, in the 80s. And I just decided to take matters into my own hands. And I decided I'm going to make this my room. So I vacuumed the whole place. And that's when this whole thing started. I still can't believe it, but we found something that has reverberated to my entire life. This is a house that was built probably in the 60s, maybe 50s, late 50s. So when my parents saw that I was so enthusiastic about, you know, building out this room and putting it all together, they actually started. Hired a carpenter and whatnot, and what we found is actually boxes of manuscripts. Man, it's unbelievable, the story behind them. So it had all kinds of musical notes, philosophical notes, a lot of Taoism references, some notes in German, a lot of infinity references and Ouroboros, the snake eating itself that you're going to be seeing in this video and throughout my work, my visual work, and what we do here at Bastien DiArgos. And, you know, I was just a teenager, so I didn't make much of it until I started reading it. And this is basically turned out to be my whole life. These manuscripts spoke about music that's the primal language of reality, and how we can use it to better understand it. And for the purpose of what we do here, to really extract as much value as possible from life. That's what they were really about. You know, at the center of everything, like Taoism, there's a polarity relation or
paradox, which is really what I've come to call it, and how we use those paradoxical situations in which we find ourselves in daily life to actually live our lives better, to the fullest. And I didn't know what to do with them, and obviously there were a lot of Taoist references and musical references until I actually came across the Never-Ending Story, and I realized that this was the same thing. My friends and I used to fantasize that maybe it was Michael Ende himself, who left those notes, and we just happened to be the lucky ones who found them. At the center of all of this, there was a name that kept coming back. Not a full name, but initials, BDA. They kept describing this teacher, BDA, as sort of almost like a wizard who could really help people extract value out of their lives with music, just with his music. And whoever did this notes, mostly in Spanish, some in German, like I mentioned, knew about storytelling. But it's difficult to know. When we moved to America, the family and I, at a very young age, right around that time actually, my dad sold all those books and everything, and along they went. So I'm not sure who has them or if they even exist, but we don't know if this was real or if this was just a character. But long story short, there's immense value. It's like winning the lottery, really, understanding these things. But they point to, not because those notes were some sort of divine secret that nobody knows, but because they can really set in motion something within you and within us that can just make our life fuller. It's all about music, all about paradoxes, polarity, and it's just amazing stuff that I am fully confident can really turn any life into the gift that it was meant to be. So why BDA? Well, that's a story for another moment, another time. BDA turned out to be Bastien DiArgos. There was a lot of talk about consciousness, sentience, intelligence, paradoxical views of nature, infinity loops, all sorts of things like that, as the center of describing reality. Not so much explaining it, having to explain a paradox, but describing reality. And in that way, that's why this is very Taoist. It has this buzzing energy that just thinking about that, sends me in this wonderful state of mind in which gratitude is at the forefront of everything that we do. It actually discusses how these paradoxes unfold what we know as reality and how we can actually surrender to that unfolding so we can see that it's all a gift and we can actually make the most out of it. It's all about consciousness and understanding, surrendering to the fact that we come here to feel, to be a witness of this dance of polar opposites that could be terrible, could be beautiful, but they make everything we experience and everything we love and hate, like you'll get to hear in the podcast. And what these are not really lessons per se, but like the music, these are frequencies or arrangements that allow you to remember who you are, what your eternal existence is about. We're not here to give you hacks to make a quick buck. We're here to give you the big enchilada, which is the ultimate secret of success, which is not even a secret, the ultimate path to the most fulfilling life you could ever have. And it's surrendering completely to this paradox that created us. So these scrolls that we're going to discuss, they're not lessons to memorize, they're memories. They're things that allow us to dance in this paradoxical expression of consciousness that we call life. And we see life as music and how we can shift our torments into music, into symphonies, the daily life into rhythm. I don't think there's anything more valuable than this. This is the source of everything, of that which can make your life flow in a powerful way that you could never really begin to imagine. And that's what we're going to talk about. And there's many of these paradox scrolls. There were lots of boxes upon boxes of stories and music. It's all about feeling the music. So let's begin. This is Musicus leg number 3. And these are the paradox scrolls 1 through 7. I wanted to talk to you about something. We're all children of a paradox. You could call that a joke, a cosmic joke, a paradox, a contradiction. That's what's going on, guys. Yeah, we're something different than who we think we are. This, flesh and blood and what we look like only. We're really consciousness. We are this ghost in the flesh and bone machine. That's who we are. Time and space, some say they're illusions. I don't think they are, but neither is consciousness. That soul, that ghost that tells us that we're alive. They're actually foundational. Time and space, they make reality, and I think consciousness is foundational as well. That's what I believe. That's what I know. I don't really believe it. I just know it. And the proof is music. Music is consciousness. Music is the pudding, it's the magic you can hear. Sometimes you listen to a piece of music. You don't have to believe anything. It's just telling you something that you already know. The message in the music, you know it. You know it very well. We are all children of a paradox. The paradox of existence. You're here. We're here right now. Holding the rarest and the best, the most valuable lottery ticket in the universe. And we've won the biggest lottery prize in existence. Being alive. That's it. Listening to music, being music. And that's why music is so captivating, because it tells you things that you can't say in words sometimes. But you know them in your soul. Think about this. This is really something that everybody should know intuitively. Think about nothing. So silence, pure silence. Or now let's flip the script and let's say we have everything, just noise. There's absolutely no silence, or maybe a tone. But can you really have both at the same time unless you're doing music? The answer is no. Music is the only answer to that paradox. Does it solve it? No, absolutely not. And we don't want music to solve anything except then dancing with it and enjoying and savoring that paradox. But you can't have silence unless you have a tone. And you can have a tone or even noise, much less music, unless you have silence. Don't want to call it a paradox? Fine. It is yin and yang, polarity that produces everything, that produces music, that produces you, that produces me, and everything that you love and hate. That's why we're children of that paradox. That is the primal paradox. And that's why you're here listening to this music, because that's how we live. Music is life. Life is music. And we're children of a paradox. Without that paradox, there's nothing. There's no movement. There's no energy. There's nothing. It's like time and space. It's fundamental. It's what creates life itself. It's everything in between and in the extremes. If you don't have that, there's nothing, really. And you may say, but then that's something. Nothing is something. Well, sure, but then you have to have something to define that nothingness, and vice versa. That's why it's a paradox. Don't try to solve it. Just make music, listen to music. It just is. No one can decide how to solve this because it's a paradox that has no solution. The only solution, and it's not really a solution, but it's a perfect solution, it's music. It's like a joke, right? It just is. And when you try to explain a joke, you ruin it. Same thing with life. Don't explain life away. because it's a joke. It's an eternal joke. It's a cosmic joke. And it's a paradox so strange that it actually sings. And that's it. We're strange like that. You and me. So listen to this music. I hope you enjoy it. And remember who you are. Children of a paradox. Why do we feel alive? Is it because there's some sort of solved problem that, some equation that made us feel alive, and somebody figured out how to make a Frankenstein monster, and boom, we mammals and reptiles now are alive and making music? Why do we feel like there's a ghost in this flesh and bone machine, someone behind my eyes who's actually alive, right? Listening to the music. Where's the music happening? Is it in the guitar? Is it in the keyboard, in the piano? Is it in the charango, the flute, the quena, the violins? Well, it's not the wood, it's not the strings alone, at least. I don't think it's even the brain. I think it's something deeper, something wonderful. And that's not even the brain. Consciousness is like a building block of the universe. It's fundamental. It's like time and space. Think about life without time. Can you really have life without time? Everything is static and nothing really changes over time. Can you really have life without matter? Without this, the camera, the piano, the keyboards, the instruments, Can you have life without consciousness? Can you be a walking ChatGPT? Probably not. That's what the soul is the consciousness that's actually making the music that you're hearing. That's where music is happening. In fact, music is consciousness. Consciousness is music. Music is life. Life is music. Just a long note on the guitar or on the piano. That's it. Nothing special. Just a stable pitch, a note that doesn't change. What is that? Is that just noise? It's not noise, because otherwise it wouldn't be stable. It remains. That's beautiful. That's consciousness coming into play and changing the chaos, the disorder in the system, and making it something stable. I love long notes like that. But just a long note, where's that happening? Is that the instrument that randomly created that long note? No, it was consciousness that created it, absorbed it, and experienced it. Consciousness in your soul, that's where the magic and the music is happening. So a long note, it's not noise, it's not randomness, it's the opposite. Because who else is like that? Who else has eyes and ears and a brain? You, child of the paradox. That's you. You're music. That's exactly who you are. And the music that we make here at Bastien DiArgos is hopefully reminding you of that. It definitely reminds us of it. I hope it does the same for you. Are we losing it? Saying evil is good? Because it's a paradox, and music and the universe is music, so, evil is good and good is evil. Thinking about those things actually makes us understand things in a paradoxical level, which is a natural thing to do, because we're living in a paradox. When we try to solve it, that's when we get confused. Solving the unsolvable instead of playing music or enjoying music. It's the primal paradox. It's a paradox. Well, good is not so good, it's kind of evil. Well, yes and no. Good is good and evil is evil. But it's a paradox. So when you decide something like that, right, you're trying to solve the unsolvable. You're saying good is evil and evil is good, and, or whatever. You can't solve it. We are living in a crazy world that was born out of a paradox, right? So what can you do? What can you do? You're gonna dance. And you're not really listening to music. You're making it. I could be playing the piano and you, but it's really you who's in your divine soul listening to it and enjoying what we're playing here. That's all you have to do. And if you can learn it, then it's even better. If you can post it on YouTube, fantastic. That's all we have to do. So these opposites, they create reality. They don't cancel each other out. They dance. I heard someone saying, it's kind of scary, but God and the devil, they may be friends. We're really living this paradox, and we're all good people. But are we really going to be saying like, hey, is there no evil in me? We're in a paradox. We're children of the paradox. The more we deny our evil, the more unkind we may see we actually are. Dance with it. Make music with it. Enjoy it. That dance where opposites don't cancel out, it's a spiral, right? Like the DNA creates, or it is life. Music is just like that, they don't cancel each other out. They create. Do that. Surrender to it. Accept it. What's in between is that struggle, that hustle we call life. It's terrible, it's beautiful, but it's life. Will this evil last forever? No, nothing lasts forever. Just like a music note. It may last for a long time, it may be beautiful, it may be sustained. A piano note can't last forever, but you combine a lot of them and you can create a symphony, or a forest, or a human body, or an organism, or life. A composition, but it's a contradiction as well. Not here to choose sides. You're here to play with them and create a song with them. Paradoxical. So religions, old spiritual traditions tackle this question. But my favorite approach is music. It's hard to forgive ourselves. That's what's hard, right? Having this superpower of forgiving yourself when you make a mistake. Would it be so hard? Probably not, but sometimes we fake our own forgiveness and then we feel terrible about it. It's just like faking forgiveness for someone else. You still, feel that poison in you. We keep trying to solve the paradox. We forget that it's paradox and it's fine. I keep forgetting all the time, but I get reminded by the music that we make. That's what Bastien DiArgos is about. If a paradox has no solution because it was never meant to have one, what do? A paradox is something to be danced with, and that's it. What is the purpose of music? Nothing. It just is. Music is. That's it. Nothing to be very serious about. But also you can be serious about it because it's life. It's a paradox. You don't use a song. Oh, I'm so serious. I'm going to use this song to do something serious. Well, kind of, but mostly you just feel it. You feel a song. You feel it in your heart, in your soul, your stomach. It's music. It's felt. It's not utilitarian. Let's use this song and we're gonna create wealth for the shareholders. Kind of, but no, you feel it. I forget it all the time. Why am I doing these reels and these videos? But mostly, why am I doing music? Because it's normal to forget. I forget every day. And music reminds me that we're in a paradox. It saves my soul. I just want to return the favor to everyone who's listening. When we try to solve the paradox, we cling to extremes. We become addicted to food, to drugs, to sex, to gambling, to cheating, to doing all kinds of things. Because we're trying to solve the unsolvable instead of dancing with reality and making music and listening to music, playing. You play the piano, you don't work the piano. Life is the same way. So I can be an irresponsible, crazy person. No, you're trying to solve the paradox in the other way, but you're still doing the same thing. That's what addiction looks like. It's a paradox. You're in between, you're dancing with it. Yin, yang, and you're right here. You go here, you go here, ooh, oh, okay, this is fun. This is energetic. This is life. That's what music is about. We self-destruct when we try to solve the unsolvable, when we try to be so radical that we can't be a little bit flexible. There's no need to do that. Just play music. Just enjoy music. Listen to music. Be music. Remember that you are music. That's what we're trying to do. You, me, the Bastien DiArgos ensemble. Just let the music flow. No need to try to fix it. Let it flow. Polarity, positive and negatives. We're living in that constant paradoxical environment in which we can really resolve it. And that's wonderful because that's what creates everything. Movement, that polarity, music. So that could be pretty overwhelming, right? Because some of us are going to say, listen, you have to have rules. You need to have harmony in music. And you need to be playing this chord after this other chord, and you have to be on tempo and this and that. Of course, yeah, you cannot do, actually. It's a paradox, but you still have to do it. But then if you do that too much, it's like, okay, where's the music? This sounds like a washing machine. So again, it's a paradox. But guess what else sounds like that? Freedom. Freedom. Yeah. That's what freedom is about. And you may say, well, so it's a little bit like being crazy and not having no rules. No, that's you again and me trying to solve the paradox, saying I need rules to live my life, and they have to be completely firm, and they can't be unchanging, or going to be very, very difficult. Oh, if you're not flexible, then you're trying to solve the unsolvable. Everything is in movement. Everything. That's what the Tao says. And the Tao, by the way, it's not a religion. It's a description of reality. Everything is in movement. God wanted it that way, or the Primal Paradox created it that way. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant, but it is that way. It keeps changing. Whoever or whatever designed it, what if there was no designer? It doesn't matter. Stop worrying about it. Know that it's a paradox. Intelligent design or not, it is a paradox, and that's the way it works. So, do you want freedom? That's how you get it. Do you want to solve the paradox to the yin or to the yang completely? No rules, absolute rules. You're gonna lose if you go there. And people try to go there. I try to go there. You try to go there. It's okay. Just forgive yourself already. Yeah, I've done that. And I will probably do that again till I listen to music and I get embedded with the Bastien DiArgos architecture so much that I understand that I am just the luckiest guy in the universe because I am and I'm playing music for you, with you. And you're actually the one making it. I'm just your facilitator, and you're doing the same for me. So thank you. You start thinking that I'm saying something so fundamentally right. I'm sorry, it's not. We're in a paradox. Every time you look at these reels, there's no perfect solution. But that's okay, because that's the point. There was a wonderful show, I love it actually. Stan Lee's Superhumans. And you feel great, and you're gonna do it. Yeah, that is true. However, it's easier to see it, edit it, in Netflix, and so wonderful, and feel like you can conquer the world, so to speak. It's different when you're thrown back into the world that created out of a paradox, and we're the punchline of a cosmic joke. Does that mean you don't have those superpowers? It's a scam. You're not fooling yourself, but it is a paradox. And there's a lot of people who want to fool you. Not me. I'm telling you the truth. Yes, you do have those superpowers. Absolutely. When you hear you can do whatever you want, it is true. I know it. I was given my dearest heart's desire. I have it in life. I get emotional. I can't believe that was given to me. I was given that gift. That's why I'm doing this. I'm a very private person, but I don't give up. This is something that needs to be shared. This is very real. You were given, or you can be given, that gift. And it has everything to do with music. It's a paradox. The only solution to the paradox is music. Even if you don't like my music, shame on you, I'm just kidding. But there's something about music that it's a language that tells you in much better terms what life is about than just language alone, Music is basically a feeling, especially instrumental music. That feeling is the superpower. You don't have to explain it. A lot of times you do have a superpower, and it's being alive. You already won the lottery. So it may be hard because there's a lot of variables, but I'm not lying to you. And you don't have to feel guilty about it because it's natural to feel. Again, we're in a paradox. Music can give you that feeling. And sometimes you want to explain it and tell it to other people, so they can have that. And I'm trying to do that here, but it won't work necessarily unless you're a poet. Doesn't matter. Find people who enjoy the music. Share with them that space. That's superpower. That feeling. Feel the music. If you can't remember that you have that superpower, that's okay. It's a paradox, but this music remembers it for you. That's your red pill. There's no AI, no one else who can do the music that you carry within your soul. I'm just trying to remind you of it.